Hey, Internet, how are you? It's Mustache Mondays, and this week we are going to talk about air conditioning. Now, look, I'm going to be straight with you right off the start and let you know that I am no air conditioning expert. Okay, I know just enough to get myself in trouble, maybe less. I don't know, but I'm going to share with you some things I've learned that look that they could really save you a lot of money. I mean, really basic, cost-effective stuff too. I mean, honest to God. So let me dive right in. Let's dive right into this whole air conditioning thing, right? So I always like to start out by just any kind of explanation. We're just trying to keep it keep it simple, keep it something that makes sense to people, right? Okay, it makes sense to me. So we all got cars, we all get air conditioning in our cars, right? Especially here in Arizona. Um, you go to the mall, you go to the shopping store, shopping mall, whatever. You come home from wherever you've been. You park your car. You get out of your car. You look back. What do you see? What do you see? Puddle. There's a puddle under my car. What's the deal? How come there's a puddle under my car? I'm gonna tell you why there's a puddle under your car. Okay, it's your air conditioning system. Okay, it cools the coils that's making the cold air that you just enjoyed driving down the road. You just shut your car off. Okay, all that condensation on the coils is now melting, because it's not being, there's no coolant going back through it anymore. Okay. The water drip comes down, drips out of a hose in the bottom of your car. There you go. That's what it is. It's all it is. It's condensation that's dripping off the bottom, and you get a puddle of water underneath your car. No big deal. It's exactly how it's supposed to work. All right. Now think about that on a bigger scale. I mean, big. Think about that on a much bigger scale. Your house. Okay. At your house, we say, you say, if you'd ask somebody, "Where's my air conditioning unit?" What would we all do? I'll go out in your backyard, right? In fact, for me, it's right behind this window. You go outside, you see that big unit sitting outside with the fan going inside of it, making all the noise. It cycles on, cycles off throughout the day, and you go, "There it is. That's my air conditioner." Yes and no. That's part of the system. It's part of the HVAC system. Okay. Okay. And the way the whole system works is you've got that unit outside and you've got an air handler in the house. Now, for you single story homeowners, God bless you, your air handler is in a closet somewhere in the hallway. I mean, I'm sure you've all seen it by now, or in some cases, I've actually seen them in the garage. Not as often, but you might see them in the garage. There's like a big square furnace box, bunch of pipes running in and out of it, et cetera, et cetera. It's your air handler. For you two-story homeowners, okay, where's your air handler at? Anybody know? Anybody? Let me tell you where your handler is. It's in your attic. Okay. It's where you never go because it's Arizona and it's 300 freaking degrees up there in your attic right now. So when the world is going up in your attic anyway, I mean, God bless anybody who has to go up there for any reason. Uh, that's where your air handler is at. Okay. For you single story homeowners, it's sitting vertically. For you two-story homeowners, it's sitting horizontally and it's up in your attic. Okay. What's that mean to you? Okay, where's Jeff going with this? Where's the potential problem in any and all of this? I'm gonna tell you right now. Here we go. Remember the car scenario? Water. Okay, same thing's happening inside the air handler. Big thing of coils. Okay, in your system in the house, it's cycling off and on like mine's doing right now. And every time it cycles off, just like you just shut off your car. Okay, every time it cycles off, that condensation it melts. Okay, where's the water going? Okay, I'll tell you where the water's going. Think, uh, think giant cookie sheet. Think giant cookie sheet about 2 inches deep. Drip pan. This giant drip pan is underneath that air handler up in your attic. Okay, drips. Water goes down into the drip pan. Okay, goes over to the side of the drip pan because it's pitched a certain way. On that side in that corner, it's PVC pipe hooked to the pan. That PVC pipe runs over to the outside wall of your house, runs down the wall, inside the wall, by the way, down the wall. At the bottom, it turns, comes outside the house. So, for those of you who've seen the little PVC pipe coming out of the side of your house, down at about ankle high, just above the foundation, with water dripping out of it, there you go. That's your primary drip line. The system is working exactly like it's supposed to. Okay, water goes into the pan, primary drip line, down the line, bada boom, bada bing. Life is good. Here's where the problems begin. It's a drip line. Keep that in mind as we're talking. Okay. There's no pressure behind that water. It's not coming out like your faucet, in the sink. It's literally just gravity taking it down the line. It's just dripping at its own pace. All right. And it's coming out. All right. Sounds good so far? Somebody out there right now, tell me that you're not feeling the same pain that I'm feeling with these dust storms we've been having. And my truck is parked out in the driveway. And every night it gets bombarded by some stinking freaking dust storm, but it doesn't get enough rain on it. Although I should take that back. Lately, we've been getting a crap load of rain. But you know exactly what I'm talking about. You get this dust storm, you get a little splintering of rain, and by morning, your truck is covered with mud. That's all dried up. You mean you're lucky to you can't even tell what color your freaking truck is anymore. It's such a disaster. Okay. Yeah. You know exactly what I'm talking about because we all deal with it. I know it for a fact because every time I go to the car wash, there's people lined up at the car wash and all their cars look just like mine. So we're all dealing with it, right? Think about your drip line. Think about your drip line. Little tiny bit of water coming down, just barely dripping. Okay. Big old dust storm. Think about your car. Think about your drip line. Start letting that go around in your head right now. What do you think's happening inside that drip line? If you ain't figured it out yet, look back at your car. That's exactly what's happening inside that drip line. Okay. It keeps building up, keeps building up, keeps building up. Okay. Until finally it plugs off the drip line. Okay. Doesn't take much because that water's not under pressure. Okay. It's just dripping. That line plugs up. Okay. What happens then? The water backs all the way back upstairs, up that line. Okay. Starts collecting in that drip pan. Okay. That's where the foolproof system kicks in. Okay. Off the side of the drip pan, you have a secondary drip line for when just in case this happens. Obviously they thought ahead. This could happen, right? Okay. What are we going to do? Well, I got a great idea. Let's put a secondary drip line in. Freaking awesome. Sounds like a great idea. So they put the secondary drip line in. That drip line comes straight out from upstairs in your attic out the wall. So if you're standing outside, and I guarantee you should be by now, you should at least go out there and take a look at all this, familiarize yourself with it. And you're standing there looking down at your feet, and you see that primary line, okay, right there. You're looking at it. There it is. Look up. Look up. You're going to see the other one. It's going to be right up there upstairs, coming out of the wall. That's your secondary line. Here's the gig. When the primary line plugs, the water starts collecting in the drip pan. It comes out the secondary line. So far, so good, right? Everything's working out fine. Here's where problems start. You haven't had your system checked in a while, like you should be having at least twice a year. Not only that, you haven't really even gone out there yourself and looked because it's pretty simple to see if the water is coming out of the primary line. There's a lot of it. It comes out pretty frequently this time of the year. Okay, none of that's happened. You haven't done any of that. You're just you're in the house. You're thinking, hey man, freaking air's cold. AC's working great. That's all I need to know. Life is good. I'm sitting in here chilling. Everything's great. Okay. Well, let me tell you what happens. That water that's in that drip pan, the drip pan is made of metal. The pan starts to rust. Okay. The pan starts to rust. How many of you have seen it? How many of you, maybe even in your own house right now, how many of you have gone through a neighborhood here in Maricopa, Casa Grande, Arizona here? How many of you driven by one of your neighbors' houses or yours that's tan, like they all are, or off tan, or medium tan, or dark tan, or if I see one more shade of tan, my head is going to freaking explode. Anyhow, everything's got to be freaking tan. So, how many of you seen it? You drive by, what do you see? Big old rust stain down the side of a 2-story house. And I know every one of you watching this has seen it. I know you have because I can't even count how many I've seen, right? Okay. Big old rust stain down the side of the house. And you're thinking, man, that really looks terrible, right? Man, that is the least of the freaking problems right now is that stupid rust stain. Okay. You want to know why there's that rust stain? The drip pan. This problem I've just described, it's been going on so long that drip pan is rusting. Now the water coming out of that secondary line, it's rusty water. Okay. Guess what happens next? I bet you're already on top of it. The pan rusts through. You know how you know when that happens? You know how you know when that happens? all of a sudden you're upstairs in your kid's bedroom or your master bedroom or the hallway going down the upstairs, you know what I mean? And you look up and you're thinking, wow, that is one big gigantic water stain on my ceiling. What in the world is that from? Because the drip pan has rusted through and now all the water is coming down on top of your drywall, and you got a rust stain, or you got a not a rust stain, but you got a big water stain in your ceiling. You got problems. Now, God forbid you're on vacation or you're a snowbird, um, whatever. You haven't been home in a while. System's running. You haven't been home. You got a problem when you come home and you find out that that drywall, it's all now on the floor because it got wet enough that it just fell. Now you got like a 3 foot by 4 foot hole in the ceiling. Okay, and the water's still coming, by the way, out of there. Okay, so now you got a real expense, right? You got issues, and all of this because you didn't know your line was plugged up, and all of that because you never really walked out there to see if your line was plugged up. Hey folks, it's hot out there, man. Okay, I know it's hot out there. Who in the world wants to go wandering around and looking at all this stuff? But it don't take but a couple of minutes. Okay, take a walk outside. Right now, you two-story homeowners, I'm telling you right now, take a walk outside. Go find that primary line. See if there's water dripping out of it. You may not even have to worry about whether there's water dripping out. If you haven't been around that side of your house in a while, and you walk around and you go, "Oh my gosh, there's a big rust stain down the side of my house," you grab your cell phone out of your pocket right now and you call an AC guy. You got to get him out there now. I mean, right friggin' now. But if you're standing there and there's no rust stain, everything looks good, side house looks great, right? You're looking at that primary line. I don't see no water coming out of that line. Jeff said there should be water coming out of that line. If your system's coming on, cycling like it is supposed to be, there should be water coming out of that line pretty frequently this time of the year. Actually, you should see pretty frequent water coming out of that line. My wife actually used to put a bowl underneath it on ours and collect the water, and then she would throw it on the plants. Uh, which was great. So if you're standing out there and you look and you don't see no water coming out of there, and you're thinking, "Hey man, how long do I got to stand out here in this stinking heat?" Go grab a freaking Cool Whip bowl or something, whatever, cereal bowl. I don't care what you grab. Grab something, stick it underneath there. Go back in the house for an hour. Come back outside, see if there's any water in that bowl. If there's no water in that bowl, you got problems. Okay. Now you may not see the water coming out upstairs on the secondary line because if it hasn't started to rust yet, water is going to be coming out clean. Remember, it's just dripping. So if it's dripping way out there, up there at the second floor, and it's just coming out and getting the wind's blowing a little bit, it's hitting the side of the house. You already know how hot the side of your house is. You may never even see the water coming out up there. If it's not coming out downstairs, you've got issues. Call an AC guy. All right. If you happen to be driving home and you get home and you after seeing this, you're thinking, wow, holy cow, I didn't know any of this. How come nobody ever told me any of this? And you look over at your neighbor's house, man, and you see he's got a stain going down the side of his house. Maybe he never walks over to this side of the house. His RV gate's not over here. Garage is on the other side of the house. We all know how it is here in Arizona. None of us should hardly ever use our front doors. We just come in and out the garage. Okay. Maybe your neighbor, maybe Bob next door, maybe he's never walked, maybe he ain't walked over to this side of the house in the last 6 months. I mean, it's freaking hot out there, right? So you see this stain, man, go next door and knock on the dude's door. Tell him, hey man, I think you got issues. You might want to have this checked out. Now he might tell you to go pound sand, get off his property, and take a flying freaking leap. But you did what you could do. Whatever. 3-4 weeks from now, when you see the contractor out there unloading all the drywall, you get the last laugh. So it is what it is, folks. That's how it works. Now I'm going to tell you a quick tip. And I learned this at a single story house my wife and I lived in when we first moved here in Arizona. And you'll see this in these photos. There is a unit. I have no idea what name of this unit is. Again, I'm not an AC expert. So I have no idea what it is. I'm going to call it the pill bottle. Okay. Because that's exactly what it looks like. It looks like a little pill bottle. Okay. And it plumbs right into that primary line that I talked about. Okay. And it's exactly the same size, at least mine was in my system. It was the exact same size as a pill bottle. Okay. Had a little top on it that just fit on top with a couple of wires running off of it. And when you pulled the top off, inside there was a little plunger. Just imagine the plunger in the back of your toilet. Okay. So there's a little plunger in there. I'm sitting around one day, my wife and I, summertime, AC's kicking, everything's great, life is good. Bam. It's like somebody threw a switch. AC just shut off. I mean, I'm serious. Like somebody threw a light switch. Boom, I got no AC. Okay, man, I must have popped a breaker, right? Go out, look at the breakers. Breakers are fine. Everything looks fine. Thermostat's working. I got power. I got everything. I got no AC. I mean, I literally got nothing going on here, right? And I'm like, again, I don't know nothing about AC. I called the AC guy. I called my buddy Ray Nieves over at 911 Air, and I called Ray up. That's how I met Ray, by the way. And Ray comes out and he shows me this, okay? Ingenious little freaking gadget, that's installed on that system that I happen to have at my house at that time. The way it worked was, and let me say this real quick, why this isn't mandatorily installed on every two-story home is a question for the ages. Okay. If somebody has an answer, please give it to me. I'd love to hear it. Okay. I'd love it. Okay. Because we're not talking about some gazillion-dollar thing. I mean, it literally looked like a little plastic pill bottle. It, it couldn't cost $100, if that. Okay. Um, it plumbed right into the primary drip line that I talked about. Okay. Here's how it worked. Primary drip line, as I explained, right, gets plugged up. My single story home, it did. It got plugged up. I didn't know. I didn't know anything about anything you're learning today. It got plugged up. Water starts to back up the drip line. Okay. Gets to the little pill bottle thing. Starts to fill up the pill bottle. This is prior to the drip pan. That's the important part. Prior to getting to the drip pan, water starts to fill up the little pill bottle. The little plunger starts to rise. The plunger gets to the top. Bam! Shuts off the AC. I mean, boom, the AC shuts off, right? To protect itself and to protect you. Okay. Piece of cake. They came out, cleaned out the drip line, compressed air. I mean, nothing to it, man. Blew the little stuff out, cleaned out the drip line, cleaned out, wiped the drain side of the little pill bottle dry. Bada boom, bada bing. The whole system was working fine. That should be installed in every two-story home in Arizona. Every single one. Because you know what? Then you wouldn't have to worry about going out there and looking to see, although you should anyway. But hey, you wouldn't have to worry about going out there to see if water's coming out of the primary line. Because if that plugged up, because your AC system would just stop working, you know. Now, for you two-story homeowners, it'd be a little tougher than it was for me. I mean, I literally just had to go in the hallway. There it was, yakety smackety, bada boom, bada bing. Pretty simple and pretty easy. I don't know how many of you guys want to be crawling around in your attic in the middle of summertime, so you're probably still going to need an AC guy. But at least you're not going to need an AC guy because you got water in a drip pan that is now rusted through, and now we got to put it in a drip pan, and or the ceiling just collapsed. The whole 9 yards, man. So I hope this really helps everybody because I think it's just I just, it's one of those things that just, it boggles my brain. It's one of those simple things that should never happen to anybody. Nobody in Maricopa, Casa Grande, Arizona, nobody should be going through this. Absolutely nobody. There's a simple system to prevent it. And even if you don't have the simple system, even if that didn't exist, hey, how hard is it to, how hard is it to walk around? You don't got to do it every day. You know what I mean? Just, hey, it's monsoon season. We're having dust storms. Now would be a good time. We've had a lot of dust storms. My cars look like crap lately. Guess what? So does the inside of your drip line. Well, my cars really looked like crap lately. Guess what? So does the inside of your drip line. Okay. Probably worse because that little sprinkling of rain that hit your car, that much rain didn't come down that drip line. So uh, monsoon season, dust storms, you need to start paying attention to this stuff, folks, before it becomes a major issue for you. So, hey, that's the tip of the week. Like and share, especially share. This is a big one. Share this with all your friends and neighbors because I guarantee it's gonna help some folks out. All of you stay safe, and I'll see you next week.